It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I wanted to make this video and just show a little love and just highlight a fighter on the recent Conor Benn-Dobson undercard, who I think on the entire card, I was there for every single fight from the prelims all the way to the main event. So I saw every fight. And I would definitely say this young man right here from New Jersey, I thought he had the standout performance on the card, and that is none other than light heavyweight contender Khalil Coe. You know, shout out to Khalil Coe. On the undercard, he had his 9th pro fight, and he was taking on a fighter, you know, a tough Mexican fighter named Juan Gerardo Osuna. Now, Juan Gerardo Osuna was an unknown commodity. He hadn't really fought outside the United States. He was a Mexican, you know, domestic fighter. But sometimes, look, those guys, those Mexican domestic fighters, you don't know what you're gonna get. It could be a mixed bag. You know, sometimes those guys wind up being really good or being not so good, but they're always tough. And he's never been stopped. He had 18 knockouts in 20 pro fights. So on paper, Juan Gerardo Osuna was supposed to be a test for Khalil Coe, and that's not what we got. We got a one-sided ass whooping. And I was really impressed with what I saw from him, because I remember I had a chance to interview Khalil Coe right before his pro debut 3 years ago. And, you know, I've been keeping tabs on him, you know, as he's been, you know, developing and going up the pro ranks. And he's a fighter that, you know, from judging by this fight, I thought he was great. I mean, his jab, he threw a very nice power jab, varying it to the head and to the body. And when he would throw his power punches off that jab, whether it be the straight right hand, the hook, anything, he wound up hurting this guy, and everything he seemed to throw had an effect. And every movement, every step that he took in the ring in this particular fight showed me maturation. It showed me a fighter that is developing quite nicely at the age of 27. And, you know, I went ahead and I went to go check the rankings to see if he was ranked anywhere. And he's not ranked in the top 15 of any of the sanctioning bodies. So, you know, normally what I normally do is if they're not ranked in the WBA, WBC, IBF, or WBO, then I got to use the box rec rankings just to get an idea like where they stand in the world, or who they could be fighting next. And he's already, like, honestly, Khalil Coe, I think, but by the end of this year, he's going to be a top 25, top 20, and potentially top 15 light heavyweight fighter in the world, because he's 32nd on box rec. All right, if you look at the names ranked in and around Khalil Coe, they're actually all good fighters. Like, just above him at 31 is a guy that I interviewed a couple years ago named Juan Carlos Carrillo, former Colombian Olympian, 11-0, good fighter. You know, he's number 31. Atif Overton, you guys know I've talked about him at length here on this channel. Really good fighter. I know he's 27 in the box rank rankings. Then you go a little bit higher. You got the former Australian Olympian, Paulo Alcuzo. You got him at 24. You got John Pascal at 20. Leroy Richards at 21, Michael Eifert at 16. So look, he's right there, knocking at the door, where in his next couple of fights, you could put Khalil Coe in with guys who have a name, guys that are ranked. And, you know, I do think he's going to wind up being a contender. And I got to say, man, I loved what I saw from him in this particular fight. We get it. You can downplay Juan Gerardo Osuna because he never fought outside of Mexico, and he was an unknown commodity. But sometimes, look, sometimes them guys are the hardest. Look no further than what happened in December of last year when Robeisy Ramirez fought Rafael Espinoza, you know, who was, you know, top contender. But Rafael Espinoza hadn't fought in Mexico either, and he got the fight with Robeisy, and Robeisy wound up losing his title, right? So, you know, sometimes the fighters that you know the least about, that you're not with, you know, have a lot of information on, those are the most dangerous guys. And I thought he acquitted himself nicely, Khalil Coe. And just the one thing that really stood out to me was the educated power jab of his. He wasn't throwing his jab, pawing with it. He wasn't, you know, overshooting it or nothing like that. It seemed like when he stepped in with his punches, all of his punches, his jab, his right hand, his left hook, all of it, it seemed like he had a good command and a good understanding of his distance from the opponent. And, you know, these are the real subtle things that when you get to that higher level that he's about to fight at, you know, that top 30, that top 25, that top 20, that top 15, top 10 level, that championship level, these are the minor things that mean the most. So if there's one fighter from Matchroom Boxing who's a prospect or, you know, now a contender that is really starting to catch my eye a little bit, it's got to be Khalil Coe, because he's a guy that had big amateur pedigree. He didn't necessarily have the amateur style, but he had big amateur pedigree. And his style was always a bit more suited for the pros. And now I think we're starting to see him really fill out and come into his mansion and come into his own. And I like what's in store for him. I think there's gonna be some really good fights out there for the light heavyweight division. So when you look at the future of the light heavyweight division, life after Better BF and Bivol, once they vacate and move on with their careers, because they won't be here much longer, you gotta look at Khalil Coe as one of those guys, along with the Ben Whitakers and the Paulo Alcozos and Atif Overtons and these kind of guys that are really and truthfully making a good name for themselves. And I'll tell you one. You know what? I'll give you guys a fight that I would like to see Khalil Coe in. I think it'd be a good fight for him. I would like to see, I would like to see Khalil Coe fight the number 39 ranked guy in boxing, Ahmed El-Biali. Ahmed El-Biali, he's a fighter that's with Don King, and he's a guy that I think would love to fight a guy like Khalil Coe. And he's fought John Pascal, and he's been in camp with top fighters, and that'd be a good fight for him. And then also, as far as other guys in the weight class, to add into the future of the light heavyweight division, you got Ben Whitaker, you got all these guys, Paulo Alcozo, you got Khalil Coe, you got a lot of talented guys, Atif Overton, but throw in Najee Lopez as well. That's another guy that I'm big on. So light heavyweight might not be a great division right now, guys, but I'm telling you, you give it a year and a half, 2 or 3 years, this division will be in a great place. Believe me on that. And it'll be because of guys like Khalil Coe and Najee Lopez and Ben Whitaker and Paulo Alcozo and these kind of guys. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What did you make of Khalil Coe's performance? Who do you want to see him fight next? And leave comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.